Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are doing Luke Skywalker's life. Okay, so this is Luke Skywalker as a kid. I personally loved him like this, and I wish we could see more. And it is so cool when Obi-Wan comes and gives him the toys, but then his uncle says, No, don't come around here again. We don't want those toys and everything like that. And he doesn't want him to be a Jedi. I just love that. And yeah, okay, on to the next one. Meeting Obi-Wan. Okay, now, when he meets Obi-Wan, I loved this when he met Obi-Wan. It was one of the best times with Luke Skywalker, one of the best parts of the movies. And I personally, this is my favourite part of the movie, of course, because we just get to see Luke Skywalker for the first time. And he's actually, such cooler than he ever was then. And I honestly don't know how. But on to the next one. Here we go. Okay, learning to use the Force. This is pretty good. Okay, so when he was on Dagobah with Yoda, oh my god, I loved it. Especially how Yoda is such a small but wise character, and it's the first ever time we get to see him. It is just so cool. I love it, and it's just especially the extreme training that he goes through to become this person we all know and love. It was the best, but I just hate when Yoda dies. Okay, exploding the Death Star. This one is pretty good. I honestly love this. Okay, so when he did explode the Death Star, it was so cool. Especially that explosion, and seeing the Death Star explode for the very first time was so cool. And, man, it was so cool. And, when he did explode the Death Star, it was so cool. He was driving through with his X-Wing, and then he fully just exploded the Death Star. And especially how he used the Force to guide the bullets. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so I'm your father. When Luke finally found out that Darth Vader was his father. Okay, so when he did find out he was his father, it was so cool. Especially how he yelled, "No!" And then he dropped down and grabbed onto the pole. And then the Millennium Falcon went underneath and he jumped into it. That was so cool. And then how he went to Dagobah to see Yoda to confirm that it was true. And it was. I loved that. Especially how Yoda was dying. I felt so bad. And Yoda was one of the best characters. And he had to be killed off. I wish he could have stayed for longer. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so saving Darth Vader. I loved this. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so when he did save Darth Vader, that was honestly the coolest thing ever. Especially how Darth Vader, when he was sitting next to the Emperor his entire life, well, nearly his entire life, and then he was fighting Luke, his own son, and Luke beat him. But the Emperor didn't accept that and started electrocuting Luke. And Darth Vader had to choose dark side and be next to the Emperor forever, or go back to the light and be with his son. But he chose to kill the Emperor to save his son, and Luke bring him back. But Darth Vader chose to look upon his son with his own eyes. That was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so when Luke died, this was pretty sad. Let's get into it. Okay, so when Luke died, I was really sad. I was crying. But I don't want to be mean, but he kind of did deserve it in a way. The sequels were so bad. They were the worst movies I had ever seen. But and especially the way he died. He was a forced ghost somehow when he was still alive across the galaxy fighting Kylo. That makes no sense. I know it is a force thing that people can use, but still, especially how he nearly beat Kylo Ren, but then he just basically just gave up on life and just died. Or maybe it's just because he used all his energy to do that. I have no clue what is going on with that. They didn't even put in any explanations. Okay. Okay, that's it. I can't do any more with Luke, especially after this death. Okay, if you can even call it a death. But let's end the video here because I'm too frustrated to do any more after what we just saw with Luke's death in the sequels. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have the best day tomorrow or maybe even today. Better than your last. See you guys in the next video. Stay strong and stay healthy. Bye!